Hey guys, it's CWillyHD here, and welcome back to Game Breakers. Animal Crossing New Horizons is officially 1 year old, and what better way to celebrate it than showcasing glitches that are still possible and survive patches. I'm currently using the 1.9.0 version of the game, which was just put out about a week ago. Nintendo hasn't been messing around with patching glitches for this game, but people are always hunting for more, so we still have a good handful of ones we can do. Duplicating any item you want, accessing the 4th floor, trees on cliffs, and more. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge that the dates and time you might see during the video are inaccurate. I only started working on this video a few days before you're seeing it, so please don't be alarmed if you see some random dates in early March or the lighting change abruptly. But with that out of the way, let's get into some Animal Crossing New Horizons glitches. First up is a helpful terraforming glitch to place trees where they shouldn't be, on the edges of cliffs. To do it, all you need are trees and the Island Designer app in order to terraform. I'd also recommend having a shovel for placing trees, a ladder unless you have an incline nearby, and fruit if you want to pick it up or change out trees. Okay, now you just gotta find or make a cliff with a corner on it. Something similar to this will work. Just pull up the Island Designer app and switch to the cliff construction shovel. Carve out this corner so it's not rounded, just 2 sharp corners. Switch to the waterscaping tool and we need to dig 3 holes. One on this corner, one on the other, and another on the inside to connect the 2. If you make something that looks like this, you're good to go. Get up to the upper level in whatever way you want, whip out the regular shovel, and dig a hole right up against the corner. Stand near the hole, select a tree to plant, and boom! It'll actually allow you to place it right up against the edge of the cliff. Normally, if you try and do this with any other circumstances, it'll say there's no place to plant things in this area. But I guess by creating this exact setup, the game gets confused and says, yeah, you're good. You can go back down to the lower level and fix up how things look by rounding up the corners and taking the water away. Now you're left with a unique tree position and a lot more options for creativity. You can place any type of tree up here, besides coconut, as those have to be on sandy beaches. They look neat up against the edges like this, and you can even take it a step further. If, this is what you consider a step further. Not only can you plant trees on the side of cliffs, you can also just make a tiny little patch of land and place a tree right on top. Make a 3x3 square with one of the corners cut out again. Repeat the same process of making 3 patches of water, climbing up, and planting the tree. After you take away any excess land, you'll be left with a tree just chilling on top of a semicircle. The roots of the tree stick out in front of the ground, which looks a little strange, but still cool. While it is just a neat little glitch on its own, you can also use it to spice up your island and create designs you couldn't before. Next up is definitely one of the most desired glitches, and something I thought of since playing this game. Getting up to the 4th floor, or layer. Using the cliff construction permit, you were always able to build a 4th layer, but you can never actually get up there. Well, now you can. All you need is a picked flower, and I'd recommend a ladder so you can actually get down without having to call the rescue services or to save and quit your game. I also grabbed some items and trees to decorate the place once we got up there. So, if you don't already have a 4th layer of land somewhere, build some and let's get started. Go around to the back side of your land while standing on the 3rd layer and begin hollowing out a 2x2 box. All you need is to leave one of the back corners rounded. It doesn't matter which, but you need it to either look like this or flipped. Once you have this, stand inside the pocket, face the middle of the opening, and place the picked flower down. It's important it's in the middle and not off to the side or it won't work. So now our setup's complete and we're ready to hop up onto the 4th floor. Pull out the cliff construction shovel, if you don't have it out already, and stand kind of in the corner but also up against the flower like you see here on screen. This next step is a little weird. You want to press A and point the control stick in the direction of the larger gap, not the rounded corner. So in my case, down right. Your character will do a little buggy animation, like they're about to start adding dirt, but they won't. This means you're on the right track. Honestly, I don't have a surefire way to get this to work, but just keep standing here, pressing A and down right, and you'll eventually add more dirt and pop right up to the 4th floor. Congratulations. Once you're up here, you're free to do whatever you want, but there are some limitations. You can't terraform at all up here, which kinda sucks because I wanted to add a waterfall or some paths, but you can't. You can place trees in just about any other item you want. I'm glad I at least get the opportunity to show you guys my design skills. What do you think? Pretty sweet, right? I experimented as much as I could to see what I could get away with, but I didn't have a lot of luck. You aren't able to place houses or other buildings up here, which I guess makes sense, but that would have been fun. So you're pretty much limited to regular items, trees, and yourself, which is the best one, right? Once you're done being up here, you can get down with a ladder or any other way you see fit. But now you got some extra space to place decorations and spice up your island yet again. I would be a little cautious with what you put up there though, as this will probably get patched out at some point in the future, so I don't know what's going to happen to your items if that does happen. So, don't say I didn't warn you. I also experimented with doing this glitch on other directions of the land, and I actually did get some different results. Doing it from a side angle popped my character up right away, just like the back does. However, if you do it facing forward, you won't shoot up to the top. Instead, your character will get shoved halfway into the wall and shake violently. From here, I managed to get a few different things to happen. You can just pick up the flower and start over, or you can use your cliff shovel again, which can either cause this, or it'll actually push you up to the 4th floor, in a weird way. So since this direction is pretty inconsistent, I'd recommend just doing the back side of the cliff, or the side. Okay, the moment I know a lot of you have been waiting for. Duplicating any item you want. You don't need too much for the actual setup, but you do need a friend's island you can fly to online, which means you both have to have Nintendo Switch online. I know that might be a deal breaker for some of you, but there is a 7-day free trial you could use if you need to. You have to fly there via online play, as local doesn't work at all. So, even if you have both Switches next to each other, it still has to be an online connection. But, let's get into how to do it. On your island, collect all the items you want to duplicate and have them in your pockets while entering the airport. Go through the usual process of flying to a friend's island. If you know other people might try and join while the gates are open, I'd recommend making it dodo code protected. You just want it to be you and your friend on the island, as a third can mess up the glitch. So once you walk out of the airport on your friend's island, a timer is started that will make the autosave kick in after roughly 2.5 minutes. It varied each time I visited, and it can be anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes. I've never seen it pop up outside of that range though. When you can move again, simply find a spot and begin dropping all your items on the ground. Anything you want to duplicate needs to be dropped on the ground before the autosave circle icon pops up in the top right corner. Again, it's random, but you should have enough time to drop a full inventory of items if you're quick enough. Once you're good to go, and it's coming up on 2 minutes, have your Switch in arm's reach because we need to hit the power button when it does. Pay close attention to the top right corner of the screen, and when you see it pop up, we have to count 3 full rotations around, and once the icon reaches here after the 3rd cycle, press the power button on your Switch to put it into sleep mode. Wait a couple seconds, turn your Switch back on, and load the game again. It'll say we lost connection, which is what we want. After a little bit of loading screens, you'll be back on your island with your items still in your inventory. Now we just have to fly back to our friend's island and pick up the duplicated ones off the ground. So after another quick flight, go back to wherever you were, and boom, there are the same items as before. Easy peasy. The timing for the autosave is the only real determining factor here of whether you get the glitch or not. I'll show you a few times now so it's more clear when I press the power button. There is some leeway with it, but I recommend letting the dot go past the top part 3 full times before doing anything. Nothing bad will come from this if you hit it too early or too late. You'll just have to fly back to your friend's island and try again. Once you get that down though, you're pretty much good to duplicate anything you want. My first time I did it, I just did some resources and specific seasonal items, but I started doing the good stuff after that. Bells, turnips, and nook miles are just some of the high value items I'd recommend doing this glitch with. You can just repeat a loop of visiting your friend's island, dropping the items, powering off your Switch, getting kicked back to your island, flying back, grabbing the items, and starting all over again. If you have enough time, or not that many items, you can just collect your dupe ones from the previous trip and duplicate the current ones all in one visit. Just make sure you pay attention to the time. But anyway, enjoy this one and have fun duplicating whatever items you want or need more of. Our final glitch takes place right in your own home. You'll need some reflective flooring and wallpaper, as well as a bunch of lighting items. I just cleared out the whole room, but you don't have to do that. Place the lighting on the back wall so it looks something like this. It doesn't matter what lights they are, but as long as you can create something similar, you'll be fine. I also added a table in the middle as I believe it gives you better results. Go into the room editor and grab the light in the middle. If you drag it around the room, you'll notice the reflections from the lights begin to bug out as the game is trying to handle all of it at once. The lights will alternate between single strips of lines and a mash of the lights together, depending on where the one extra light is. You can also create the glitch by yourself without the room editor by placing and sliding a light around on the floor. It's not as intense as the editor, but it is an option. I know it's not too crazy of a glitch, but it's still something you can mess around with, and maybe even take a step further with some combinations of lights, but I couldn't find anything else. So, there were some glitches you can still do in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I hope Nintendo doesn't come out with a patch shortly after this video. They shouldn't though, as they just released the 1.9 patch for the 1-year anniversary, but either way, I recommend trying them out soon if you have any interest. Part of me wants to come back to this game in the future and try and do as many glitches as I can in the original 1.0 version of it, as there's a lot of cool things you can do, but I don't know how useful that'd be, since most of the things I'll show off won't be possible anymore. I think it could still be neat going back and showcasing everything though. Let me know what you think in the comments. But for now, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, see ya!